pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion
I'll
passes.
make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Three sets. Both sets?
Both sets.
I'll second both sets.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Communications?
Oh, I had a Heritage for the of Aging yesterday, and they've lost some money with that federal, when they shut down that federal grant, that money they were giving feds.
Yeah.
Heritage of Aging lost some money in that so far, but they think they're gonna get it back, so. That affects like our HACAP meals and all that stuff around the county, in our county. So they had to take some money out of their savings to pay some bills, so we'll see how it goes. That was the only, I had a couple meetings with Mr. Slings, trying to figure out that budget. Really struggling with it. So
You called me yesterday, I need to get back to him on the question
I think we got it figured out, I think.
about how to wash out a donation for the,
Yeah, I think we figured it out, maybe not. Maybe I told him to call you about that, so.
yeah.
So that was it there, so.
Just Tuesday morning, it was a Zoom call with East Central Iowa Workforce Development. It was like a special meeting because they were wanting to hire that new director. But they didn't have enough quorum, so we had to have another special meeting. They couldn't get enough people to get on, I guess. So they did the spiel about it, and it sounds like they're gonna hire the guy. He's like way overqualified, and he's wanting to slow down or something, so he wants to take the job. But anyways, that's it. That's all I got.
I had a Veterans Commission meeting. It was pretty routine, just talked about clients coming up and training that our officer's gonna be attending and so forth. We discussed a little bit about possible office movements, and I just told them that nothing's set in stone and there's no time frame, but if they wanted to, discuss some pros and cons of, if they move the office to another location. And then we had our insurance meeting, which I'll let you go over it if you want.
I was thinking, just to save time, I thought we could go through the information with them at the end, if that sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
That way we don't have to bore everybody
Yeah.
else while we.
That's all I had for the weekend.
Perfect. That's all I had too, so. No liquor licenses, right, Brandy? Nothing. Things went through. The Iowa Scenic Byway Audio Tour.
Did you want to do the open forum?
I guess, do you have anything for open forum? Do you have anything for open forum, or are you here for the bid?
We're here for the bid on the.
That's what I thought. Okay. So this comes out of our hotel motel tax
Every year.
every year.
Good morning.
It's usually $375. They want to go to $500, it looks like.
You need a motion for that?
Yeah, we need to discuss it, I guess, if you want to give them more money.
What's it for? Or I mean,
So I think it's a thing on the radio. Is that correct? That you turn on that when you're driving through on Highway 6?
See, like those signs that are
oh,
up
I've seen, yeah. I got
there? It hasn't been raised for years, has it?
I don't think so.
How many years have you been doing it, Brandon? Do you know?
We did, okay.
Oh, did do 500 last year.
That's what they're asking for this year?
Used to be 375, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, 375, no, 5.
It's $1,500 a year split between Tama County Economic and Development, Amana Heritage Society, Belle Plaine Community Development, and the Iowa County Hotel Motel Tax Fund. So it's split between all those entities.
I'll make a motion to pay the $500 on a hotel motel.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Perfect. And then we won't get into budget yet, but Brittany and I were discussing beforehand that we're missing the sheriffs yet. And then obviously public health and conservation have to go through their boards, but we have a preliminary, just where things are at that we can talk about later.
Everybody else is in besides that.
And I do have liquor license.
Oh, for Amana Society,
Is there one on each side?
it's an amendment. They're moving it to the convention building, I'm assuming for May 1st through April 30th of 25.
I'll make the motion to approve the liquor license.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Right?
Opposed, motion passes.
That booze.
Perfect. Let them have liquor. And then I'm sure Nick City called, I think, everybody about the raises. Did he call you guys?
Yeah.
Did he call you?
He did not call me. but-
Didn't call me.
Oh. He told me he called everybody. But he has some ideas to justify the raises for it, because he's not tied to the union and neither is his office staff or the second engineer. And so he has ways he'd like to come up with to essentially save money to pay for the raises.
It was only gonna be like 10,000, right?
Mhm.
For those 4 employees?
That's what he said.
I just saw the emails, what I saw.
So I think,
I thought you were trying to come up with ways to save the whole county.
what?
He was rattling off
Oh,
thousands of dollars to me.
that was his math about how many acres there are. And
Well, no, but he was at like 80, I like to get you 80,000 a year, 10,000 a year. I was in the middle of doing chores, so I wasn't really attentive, I guess.
So I guess, we need to kind of decide it, are we gonna, I feel like if we allow him to get the raise by saving money out of his budget, we're kind of setting the precedence for other departments to carve out money to justify a raise, which they can do anyways, technically. You mean line item by line item. But
That's slippery slope.
I think it's gonna be slippery if we let them do it.
Well, that's kind of what I told him. I don't know with it.
Which reminds me, when's the conference board final budget meeting?
26.
26.
Of course.
Is that 6?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Because we're gonna have to really advocate at that one. If we're given 0. I think it's been pretty quiet. I don't know about you guys.
It hasn't
Or no.
It hasn't been very quiet.
Got a few phone calls.
Yeah, I had a few.
You called me.
Nobody ever calls me. I don't know
It's
why.
kind of way it started out easy that way, so that was kind of a nice part there first. Yeah, no way.
I don't know that I've ever really been a heavy hitter on phone calls.
And I think, once I say, well, we could do something with the health insurance, no. It's because they changed the tune.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go over it later, but our health insurance is pretty archaic, nobody really offers it this rich, so. Eventually, we might have to dump into that, but I don't really want to do that on a 0% year. Oh, sorry.
I just took them both.
Did you guys get an email from ISAC on, let me see if I can-
Oh, on the HHS information, I was gonna ask you about
So
think I did.
I followed up with that with Maryland, and it was ironic because the Eastern Iowa Board had a meeting of the workers the day before discussing that exact issue. And so I think more likely that's gonna be filtered through Maryland and the Eastern Iowa Mental Health, the office up there. We may have to sign off on it, but it's a lot of HIPAA related stuff, so I don't know how they can just expect it to be just, handed right over, so. I'll probably find more out about it at the next meeting we have, so. Cause actually that day that we got that email, all the directors from Iowa were meeting in Des Moines for probably that same subject on how they're gonna transfer records and information and all that stuff. But some of it might have to be signed off by the patient themselves before it can be
Yeah,
sent to somebody else. So it was like on committals and things like that.
We'll probably have to amend the budget again for Department 60 for that incremental, it's not really an incremental incentive to keep the employee here until the end of the fiscal year, because we don't have that budget.
around 60.
Mental health. Which one? Mental health.
But we really won't know how much though.
Well, yeah,
What,
and we have a budget amendment in the works now.
oh, she was gonna talk to you about that. She's gonna be coming in February, I think, right? Or March,
Who are we talking about?
May.
She is on the agenda. I think she comes on and gone. But I did talk to Deb. Deb Goddard.
Which, do you have the information on our tentative budget amendment that we have coming? Because we were talking about that money that Adam talked about, that 140 or 160,000 for this fiscal year. I wouldn't count on it because I think it's gonna get washed out by that.
You gonna wash out by what?
Our budget amendment that's coming.
Cause there's more expenses in that.
Mhm.
We'll be done with the budget workshop. We'll be down.
Okay,
Figure out it.
perfect.
We're just a minute.
Chilly out there, huh?
Yeah, it is.
It'll be nothing compared to next week.
There's not one up in sight.
Friday starts to come back out.
Go back down.
No,
Next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday. And then they said following week, like they see there's 40s in the forecast, they say.
Oh,
coming.
really?
Yeah.
They have mud 4 times a year.
There you go.
Although when it warms up and freezes that
Thank
night.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, this week we've been dealing mostly with snow, hauling salt and sand. We're getting, I think we received 200 tons of salt this week. And we're gonna get another 200 next week, so it'll be a lot of just cleaning up the snow, and, we did keep M Avenue open until 9 PM last night, 2 nights ago. And we'll probably run, I think the snow is supposed to be here at 3 today, we'll probably run till 6 tonight and be back at it in the morning. As far as the office goes, We did send out pavement striping bids, so those are out. I did send out some, bids for pickups, so we'll see if we do that, but, sat down and wrote out the specs for that and everything and, figured out what we need and sent those out, so
How many are you planning on replacing?
there's 4.
What are your miles on roughly?
I don't think miles matter at this point. I think, it's that they are, some of them are not roadworthy.
I see.
Like, apparently we couldn't get one up on a lift. So it's kind of set aside. 2 of them, we have kind of pushed snow. So, we'll see what those bids come in at. It should be a little bit under 50,000 each as part of our thing that I'll mention later. And I think I've told some of you, like, one of those where we've always got new and we've got red, and that's nice for the county. But if we're looking to cut savings, I would rather see some people happy and we just go different colors and get a few years old, So, it's a matter of that. But anyway, we did get them out, so we'll see what they come in at, right? No harm, no foul there. Our guys have been doing stuff for Sims cross sections. We have to input, 200 bridges and like 15 different stuff for each of them. It's gonna take a while. I did sign off on that culvert extension on T Avenue, B77. I was able to negotiate them down to about, we took $4,000 off the price. So letters, right-of-way letters were sent out for that. And as soon as the weather breaks, I think that they're gonna start that. And then I do have some stuff on the bottom that's just for the future, but, the other thing I wanted to touch base on, and I think you guys were talking about earlier in this meeting about raises for the county, employees. Noted last week, we kind of redid ours to go down to 0 for non-union employees. And, I think I've talked with you guys a little bit, but we can rework our budget to find that money, for our office. I don't know about other offices, but like I said, with the pickups, right? We're looking at about $200,000 in pickups coming up. We go new, we go used, not red. We can probably save, 80 grand there. That's just one thing. Do we want to keep some of our people happy, or do we want to have matching pickups? So, and then I just kind of want to throw different ideas out there so that I just want to throw different ideas out. So, I think they came out on Monday and inflation is back on the rise. It's above 3% now. And so that does affect, everybody, but it also does affect the non-union employees for the whole county. And I also heard that we're looking at like $300,000, is that right? Or what was?
$380,000.
380, okay, so I didn't know the exact number. So if you look at like 300,000, one way to look at it, and you guys are the board, you take this however you want, I'm just giving you different ways to look at things. 300,000 for all of Iowa County, that's like that's $18.75, $19 a resident. Okay, that you would have to increase taxes. Or is there about 80 non-union workers? I just took a guess. Let's just say 80.
There is more than that.
You just say 80. This is around it. Or you put that all on the non-union workers, which is $3,700 per employee. So yeah, I get that times people have been laid off at Kinsey's and everything else, but you're spreading it over 16,000 people, or you're all putting it on 80 or 90.
But like I told you, you're only looking at one little sliver of
I am,
the
but
total increase. When you're looking at $1.2 million, you're looking at a lot more per thousand per person.
I'm just throwing.
There's things that
I'm-
can't be controlled that did go up, like our commercial insurance or property insurance, all the other stuff went up, or health insurance went up. So would you rather have maybe, well, what would it be? A 2.5% raise? 5%. You have to be making over $100,000 to cancel out the 2.5% raise for the $4,500 that you're getting in a health insurance benefit increase that we're absorbing.
Yeah, no, I get I'm just talking about for the remainder, like, for the raise part itself.
I know, but it's either, we can't do it all. We're not raising property taxes by 1.2 million. So we need to pick or choose. Do you want health insurance or do you want a raise?
I get, I'm just going over for that last little bit for the raises. For the raises, I'm just saying, the different way to think about it is spreading it out over all the citizens, or you're putting it on the 80th of course.
So you're saying we should raise our property taxes by 1.2 million to,
I don't know about 1.2 million, whatever, I'm just
that's what
throwing
it'd
out.
be. I'm telling you right now, that's what it'd be. If we give you your same health insurance benefit, fund the departments the way they need to be funded right now, plus give a 2.5% raise, you're looking at over $1.1 million.
And then, so if you don't give the raises.
We're looking at more like 800,000.
Mhm. So I'm just saying.
Plus, we did some more cuts last week to hopefully get it down to like
600,000. I'm just throwing out for that for the raise part. I'm just throwing out for the raise part.
But you see what I mean? Like, so we
I-
can't do both. Like, the sport's not going to do both. I shouldn't say that we can't. We're not going to do both. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think the consensus was that we're not going to raise taxes that much. And so we can't give you your full health insurance benefit. I mean, we had a meeting on Tuesday and we could cut your benefits by a lot and save the county a chunk of change. But the consensus amongst most of the employees is that they'd rather keep their health insurance benefit and then not get the raise. Because it's actually more dollars in your pocket.
I'm sure. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I'm just talking about that last part for the raises themselves. If you're considering raises, then it's kind of, my point of view on that one is the raises either affect 80 people or 16,000.
Well, either way, it affects everybody. 16,000 people are paying the taxes and we're employing 80 people. I mean, no matter what decisions made.
Exactly. So it's 16,000 versus 80. Do you put the trouble on the 16,000 or do you put it all on 80?
Well, I'm already putting how many hundreds of thousands of dollars on the 16,000 to keep the health insurance the way it is.
Yeah, I know that the health insurance, it's going up.
It was 13.5%, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
13.5.
And we pay over $200,000 a month on that.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I get that, and like, I think our office is a third of that or whatever, and we're taking the hit, and I don't think you guys are giving us more, so there's like a third of it which you don't have to account for, but that's just one way to look at things. So I did see also, like, okay, if we're not gonna give out raises, there are other ways we could do it, like offer more vacation time then, something like that. Just an option, just throwing it out there. If you work 52 weeks a year, 2% for non-union workers, I mean, that's a whole extra week of vacation. That's a lot of vacation, but that's what it equates to. But I'm just throwing it out there, if there's not a monetary value that you can offer, then maybe extra vacation is a different non-monetary value. The other thing, that you could do, I saw in the paper that a lot of those budgets, and I think you touched on this last week, and I think that this was your point, and I think it's a fair point, that, some of these budgets, they look, at least according to the paper, they're a lot 20 to 50% higher than last year, right? Is that what, at least that's the way I was reading.
My point last Friday was we have budgets that aren't dialed in appropriately. So we're budgeting for 18% ending fund balance every year, but we end up at 30 because we're budgeting 2 worst case scenario.
Yep. So that's what I would say is, and I think we've kind of done this too or whatever, is that exactly like you were saying, you make next year's budgets, they shouldn't be 50% over this year, they should be more like 10%. And then when you find out how much extra money that you had, then you can do amendments to add that back if you end up having the leftover money.
But the way our system works, it's already calculating that in there. So if you're over on your revenue or under on your expenses, it's already counting for that. So we're using that 30% carryover to go into this year to aim for 18%, and that's sheltering some of this increase from the taxpayers.
So what I would say is you wouldn't have the 2 worst case scenarios, is what I'm saying.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, we've had this problem, but the one benefit is we originally were planning on this year ending at 18%, right? This fiscal year.
That's the plan, like that's your goal?
That was our original goal when we set the budget last year, right? Because of increased revenue and decreased expenses, we're looking at a 30% as of last week, right? And so we're using that 30% to funnel into this year to fund some of these departments, and that's not coming out of the taxpayers' wallets again, if that makes sense. So we're already using that difference into this year's budget.
If they didn't have that, it would be more.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was at 18%, it would be more of a discrepancy.
So everyone's,
Or didn't have
It's
that.
it
Yeah.
just sounded like everyone was planning for the 2 worst case scenarios, worst case this year, worst
Well, a
case next
couple of
year.
them had major purchases that are gonna happen in the next fiscal year, such as the ambulance department has defibrillators that are $80,000 a piece. So that's why his was significantly more.
But we found money in every budget, though.
Yeah, we brought them all in and we went through things and we found, I don't know how much it was total.
Right, so what you
It's
do,
increased revenue and decreasing some
but
expenses.
everybody is gonna come in probably this year like under budget. I mean,
But
everybody
that's
can't,
already figured in the system, it's re-estimating.
kind of. They'll probably still come under that re-estimate, or maybe they won't.
Hopefully, because we don't want them to come over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I know that they're big numbers because we spend a lot per week, but we'll come in, a fair amount like under, and it sounded kind of like everybody else was gonna be looking the same. So what we do then sometimes is we make the next year's budget tight, and then with what we roll over, we'll do an amendment.
Yours is different because it stays in a separate fund.
Yeah, ours is, but I don't know how you guys do it for like your whole,
Well, it all rolls over. I mean, it stays in the general fund,
right, so
but
that one rolls over. But I didn't, yeah,
I
anyway,
get it. 0% raises aren't fun to hand out. It's not an easy decision to make, but at the end of the day, we can't raise taxes by over 12%. I mean, or I can't. I guess I'm once again speaking on behalf of the board, but I won't do it.
sure, that's,
And I'd rather see us keep our health insurance the same this year, and going forward, we can look at adjusting it to afford raises if we have to, but I'd rather give everybody the health insurance that I mean, we had a really bad year of claims, and that's why it went up so much, and I'd rather keep them having that benefit if we're trending, and our trend is going worse. So I'd rather keep that benefit for them, because it's gonna be more money in their pocket at the end of the day for the majority of the employees.
so then the question, like, what if we're in the same boat next year
With an increase,
with the insurance again? Is it just no raise next year too?
it depends where we're at. It depends on our valuations, if we get tripped by 718 or not. We got tripped this year because we were between 3% and 6%, so our general and our rural were capped. We can't change it.
So what does that mean, that
So if 718
Taxes.
sets your levy rates based on your valuation increase. Last year, we were less than 3%, so we were uncapped. This year, because we were between 3% and 6%, we had a 2% revenue restriction. And so that took our levy rates on the general and the rural down, and we're stuck, like, now we can't do the 3.5.
So let's say if I owned, and this, I don't know what the answer is, this is what I'm asking you. Let's say if I paid $1,000 in taxes last year, what is my estimate that I would pay this year?
If we don't, change anything, if we do
Yeah.
like the 12%.
It
If
would
we
go
didn't
up-
change anything,
It
yeah,
would go up 12%.
countywide, because it's
Because
all coming out of the supplemental.
because I haven't quite understood how those rollbacks work. Is that taken to a part of rollbacks?
It does, but I generally, as a whole, I mean, the reality is the ag land will see the least amount of the hit because of the rollback for them,
Yeah.
as they have the highest
Because I've
rollback.
seen that some of those that ag land, people are paying less taxes now than they did 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, it went down last year for rural services, but the residential, like the people in town, they'll see probably about a 12% plus the cities, plus the
Right,
school increases, and that's not fair.
right. So, and I know you guys were talking about this before, that you guys didn't want to do it, but, you know, we can, at secondary roads, make, you know, short-term cuts in order to give our the last 4 employees a raise, because there are 32 in the union, there's only 4 that's not.
Well, going back to the pickups, I mean, if we can save that much money on it, I feel like we should be doing that in the first place. I don't know what the rest of the board feels, but I don't think we need matching pickups. That's not
It's
a
only been the
taxpayer.
policy of this board to get new matching pickups. I bought a used white one a few years ago and I got in trouble.
Really? Well, I think this board probably should reconsider that. I don't think we need matching pickups.
I know I'm new, but I mean, going forward, I would say if every department head would do that and try to save money to begin with, then maybe the raises would be there. You know, we're projecting
Exactly.
out years in advance, or a year in advance. And I mean, you know, if they're over budgeting, you know, we can't, you know, I mean, unless you change that, you know, if that's changed and that money's there, maybe the raises could happen.
And ours, what you guys give to secondary roads has been the same since 2014. So we keep getting by with the same amount-ish. And we get a little bit more from the state now. But as I showed you guys in the December meeting, you know, comparatively, with inflation over the past 10 years, we are now equivalent to getting $500,000 less a year. So we've made a lot of these changes. We've done a lot of stuff. Now we're at the point where, you know, we cut out for pickups, or we can cut out, you know, summer mowing where we don't mow it. There's other levels of service we could cut back on.
But also you got $6 million in TIF revenue that no other department had.
Yeah, we will not, yeah, we will,
Yeah,
we will.
Keep that
And we, that'll go to extra funding, and some of that then gets shifted over for FM, which, so. That can't be paid for local stuff though. That's
I know, but it's still $6 million more in spending projects for you to do that,
Projects, but not maintenance.
yeah.
And most of our projects never come out of local anyway. They can, I mean.
But still $6 million in your budget per se.
So I don't know, if you guys are set on the zero and don't want to find a way, then I would say then maybe, you know, offer a little bit of vacation or something to people to try to help them out, or something like that. But I just thought I'd offer you some of the thoughts, but I think you guys are still in a way better position than Tamer.
Yeah, negative 950,000.
Yeah. In 2 years, spent through 16 million.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, how does
crazy.
that happen?
Right? Well, the one guy said, well,
It was
I
the
was just
chair.
signing off. I was just signing off on everything. I wasn't looking at it. I was like, oh, those are thoughts you should keep in your head.
You don't say that out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand how the chair acts like he doesn't know how it happened.
He's brand new. He just got
Oh.
voted in.
Oh.
I think.
He did, I looked it up.
Oh, you
just
did?
After you.
Did
were
they have-
talking about it.
How many did they have new?
There's 2 that are 26, that were elected at 26, and the rest, there's 3 that were 28.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 new ones, and the one,
Okay.
the chair is a new one, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Welcome to a big problem.
When they started talking about how we're gonna meet this week's payroll, it's like, oh, we're in real.
Yeah, they're borrowing $1 million from 911.
So,
Well, thanks for research.
Yeah.
No, thank you,
Thank
but.
Appreciate it.
all right, well, you guys have a good weekend.
You too. Kenny Bloom, how are you? Great.
I'm not so sure that we should get in the business of changing our vacation policy on a bad year, but that's just me. I can see maybe an extra personal day. That might not be bad, but I don't want to change our policy manual. That takes so much more work.
Check Dylan time to come on over.
I think he's downstairs, because I told him to grab the bid.
They were due at 9, weren't they?
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. Did you text him? Did you text him?
Very good. Cabin yet? Full blast?
He's fantastic, your Kevin, yeah. So, yesterday.
I don't miss that.
I didn't miss his weather.
That's right.
My office, there's no one in my office.
Kristen, Sam.
I don't know, but
That's
they
what she
have
needs.
Yeah, no one's.
But the bids that we received.
Oh, you want me to bring one?
Yeah.
Draw your picture. Sent a load of cat fats out the other day, they were a little big, 1,640 pounds, baby. That's a big cat.
Crazy, ain't
Yeah.
it? Crazy, ain't
Should have signed it.
Right?
Thank you.
Way to go, Dylan.
it? Are you here for any other reason? Yeah.
The monthly update.
Yeah.
Well, where's our handout?
Yeah, where's my big pot?
All bent up? Don't be kidding me.
I don't want to blow away.
Did you get your briefcase or what?
Let's get away.
Come on.
Yeah, you'll take them over.
Don't do it.
Is Kevin in today?
No.
Good thing, he would have been off here, he would have requested new papers.
All right. So, last week, they started the access control system for the courthouse. It is now complete as of Tuesday. Really haven't had any problems. And do you guys want your own card to get into the courthouse? Or do you just want one for all the supervisors?
That's just for after hours? I don't see a need for me, but.
I've never had to get into there. Maybe, yeah, I only have to get into here,
If I
so.
have to, I'll call you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can come down.
Give it to the
I have one
cop.
in my office that I could
Good.
get you in.
Yeah, Randy has one too. The jail has one, so if you really need it in, you can probably get one.
Just get you out of the jail, that's the question.
Yes. Yes, indeed, yeah. And then, here about a couple weeks ago, I put new lights in the CD shed, some new, 8 brand new LED high bay lights. And then Besides that, there's been some miscellaneous
What
maintenance.
does that run?
That was $600. So we got the lights for $20 a piece. And then we put motion sensors in there. So, you know, people don't leave the lights on and stuff like that. So the motion sensors were about $250 of the cost, but the lights were pretty cheap. The lights are $200. I don't know, Alliant must be doing a rebate or something right now. Where the LED lights, they give you a rebate on them. So, yeah, we were able to get them for pretty cheap. And that's about all I got for you guys. You guys have any questions?
I don't think so.
That's it.
I think it used to be quite the deal. Now it's just,
Yeah, I know. We used to have a multi-page
Yeah.
document.
that's just this.
What did you do, just empty the bag?
Yeah,
No,
he got the hair out of the,
there's the control board went bad in one, and then the other one, there's just some loose connections. All it is wire nuts in there, so one of them fell out, so I decided to reconnect that.
Your generator bit open.
well, we gotta wait till 9:45.
Oh, we
Don't
do
we?
gotta wait till 9:45.
Do you think, Randy?
Probably.
9:45 on the dot?
Yeah, in case somebody else comes in and wants to.
Yeah, good asking. How was your goal?
Huh?
How was your goal?
It was raining and 45 the whole time.
Was it?
They got the races in last night. It rained all day, but must have quit raining.
Oh, seriously?
They told me they had the twin duels last night.
Is that race Saturday or is it Sunday?
There's races every day through Sunday, but the big race is Sunday. 500.
Mhm. Have you guys heard how much snow we're supposed to get today and tomorrow?
2 or 4.
I think so.
That's what Casey and you said before.
2 to 4? That'll be about a trace or 8 inches.
Hope so.
Tracer.
Probably 2.
What do you think we got the other day?
I bet we got all of 9. Man, it never really stopped snowing. So,
Nice and fluffy though.
yeah, it was. That was pretty easy to move, so really didn't have any problems there.
Kevin come over and help you?
No, I got her.
You said you were gonna call me, but I never heard of it.
No. Now you could have 12 guys and still you wouldn't be able to keep up.
We just have one Dylan and he kept up. He's super weird.
Yeah. I don't know if I really caught up. I was just kind of driving in circles, really. Chased my tail all day.
Makes you look busy that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I looked pretty busy, I'd say.
How's your salt budget?
Good. Good. Salt budget's good.
I said, you used quite a bit again.
Hey, it's free treat for today. Free treat pretty
I'm
good.
just kidding.
I know.
We have to come in tomorrow, then?
I don't know. I'll talk with Rob and see what he wants me to do. If Rob wants me to come in and keep the parking lot sidewalks clear, I'll do that, but he's fine with if I just come in Sunday morning, probably just come in Sunday morning. Then it sounds like it's supposed to snow Monday too.
Is it?
I didn't think, why didn't?
It's a small percent.
When's it supposed to snow Sunday?
It's not supposed to snow Sunday. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not?
That's when the cold weather's supposed to come.
I thought it was supposed to snow
So that's what I mean.
on Sunday too.
If Rob would just, Rob's okay with me just coming in Sunday when it's all done.
Yeah.
And Monday they have, the courthouse is
Saturday,
closed.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Monday, the courthouse is closed, but clerk courts is open, and they have a full day court, so if it's snowing, I gotta be here, whatever. Hopefully we don't get much, it's just a trace.
Are we ready? It's
Yeah.
9:45. Looks like we got several. Three. The first one is from Kenneth Bloom for $4,100. The second one is from Ben Brett from the American Legion for $5,100. Includes generator and switch. And the last one from Donald Shafo for $6,852.00.
What was that one?
$6,852.00. Did Lou, or no, we don't use, did Tim say that they could up their bid here, right? Okay. Perfect.
How you gonna do it? I mean, you wanna-
Usually we open it
one
up.
time?
Obviously Donald has the highest one, so the American Legion or Ken both have the opportunity to raise it above that.
We get one shot or it's a live auction.
That's what
It's-
yeah.
I thought it's just live, like we do on
That's how
the,
we did the farm, right?
yeah,
Live.
you could just
Okay,
go up.
So you just keep bidding
Yep.
up until
Yep.
you're done. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you can get more than one bid.
Okay. I'll bid 7,000. It's 7,500.
8,000,
8,100.
85,
86.
88,
9,000.
10,
10,250.
10-3,
Then you done too? Okay, 10-3.
Great, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
You guys done with me?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need envelopes, right?
I think so.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Dylan, you gotta set it up for him too.
He's gonna deliver it.
That's what- Come on, man.
What's it called last?
Yeah, it did. And what generator is this?
When that we had, came with jail kitchen, it was a jail kitchen, I believe. I think.
And it's because we switched from
Yeah.
2 to 1 big one? Okay. Does anybody want to break before the budget? And Brandy, you said you might run downstairs and grab some stuff? So maybe we'll go to recess.
Sure.
insurance, or budget amendment? What do you guys want to do?
It makes me no difference.
Whatever you want to do, you're in
Do all
charge.
three anyway.
I don't care either way. So budget amendment. We'll have.
I can help you with that.
We'll see if I can muddle through. It might not be.
Yeah, your keys, Deacon.
My keys?
Yeah, the city's cleaning out the snow pile.
Oh, it's in it, so you should be able to just do that. I'm pretty, well, let me go.
I'm good there.
Yeah, I can move yours too.
I don't have my keys.
You with that chick from Downey today, or when you picks it up?
Do you need to move mine?
No, yours is across the road.
Yeah.
Sorry. Glad I didn't send you out there.
Your keys are in it, Chris?
No, you want my keys?
Yeah.
You can just leave mine in it. We're good.
Nobody's crap.
Heater don't work, you won't be in mine very long.
So it looks like public health has some grant money to spend, right, Randy? So that's not a bad one. Some of the storm damage money for
Yes. we need
Courthouse.
To show that coming in as our revenue, and then the portion that he's going to spend, this year.
Department 51. Which one is that one? That's what I thought, okay. Genealogy,
That was one that must have just gotten missed last year, we didn't list anything for it,
oh, okay, another $2,000 out of there.
and that's hotel motel.
Spending down ARPA funds,
And that's just the remainder of, that local tribal consistency fund, 99,000 that was supposed to have been spent last year, but obviously it wasn't, so we carried it over, so we budgeted now to be able to spend it.
okay. $4,000 more for the Kinsey tip. Your
It's
4,000,
just underestimated.
okay. Jail kitchen engineer's office, $3,750.
That was the remainder of the bond proceeds that were in there.
Okay. And then the treasurer for having the training employee, there's 41,000. Is this the recorder, I assume? This one?
Yes.
Recorder is a similar issue, 27,000 there. And then 6,000 for the Frolic Acres nuisance, but that'll be an in and out later when they pay it back on taxes. So we won't get it for a while.
Hear that if the property gets condemned, right?
That'll be an environmental question.
It's something like that.
Yeah, if they don't pay this, eventually we could end up owning the property.
Then 267,000 in Nick's budget.
Neighbors were sure happy.
What was it?
Huh?
What was it? Oh,
It had been kind of abandoned and
I gotcha.
it was in rough shape.
Yeah.
There was stuff all over the yard.
Do you have the total numbers, what it is in here? Am I missing it?
Let's see, so the total for our revenue.
103,000 more or 182,000 more?
The total for expenses is
107. So it's gonna be a net increase then, right? Okay, so it won't eat up that money from Adam. Okay. So 192,000 in revenue and 107 in expenses.
How much in revenue?
192.
Well, that includes Adams.
It does not include Adams, right? Because it's not part of it, but we probably should have him do the amendment, shouldn't we?
We'll have to have another one because of Diamond Trail to
Did you get that?
interest money that needs to be moved or authored. I was waiting, I was hoping to hear from them before I started the amendment. I needed to get the amendment done so we can finish paying the bills for the courthouse project. And it was probably a week later that I finally got the email from the auditors, so. But I'll have to do the amendment for Department 60 to include that retention.
But that'll be in that one, so shouldn't affect the budget.
I think what we should do is, when we do that budget amendment, the second one coming down the pipeline is have all the departments reestimate their revenues and expenses to dial it down, so if there is money sitting in there that we don't know about, like, let's say, here's just an example, I'm not picking on any department, but let's say the treasurer all of a sudden had way more interest than what she thought this year. Make sure that's put in there, so that way we can see where the ending fund balance is gonna be. Not that it's gonna affect our budgets, we gotta get that done by next Friday, but at least we would have more of an idea.
Right.
Insurance next. Go through the long, boring insurance details. How much detail do you want? Zach, do you want to know details? Do you want
I mean,
just overview?
overview, I'd say, don't you? I mean,
If they, I guess if there's,
whatever.
so I guess, yeah, go through the overview, if there's any way to change anything, I guess.
Yeah,
So if you go to the tab 1, and then that first page, that's where it looks like this.
Okay.
This is how they calculate our renewal rates. I won't go into the details of it, but basically you can see if you look at total claims on the bottom, page 11, underneath the first blue line, the total claims, that was up by 500,000, 22.29%. Years ago, when we had, when was this, when I implemented the changes, 3 years ago? Most of our employees were on the national network. So when you go to a doctor for a sprained wrist and you're on the national network plan, you might be going in Iowa, but they're gonna pay on a national rate, like a California, everybody included what a sprained wrist costs, right? So that's why we made the one product completely free. That was the state network, because right here where it goes to total claims and then it adjusts it, benefit adjusted right below that. Then they take all of our claims and put everybody as if they were in our most popular product, which always used to be the national network. So instead of that number going from 22.5 million to 2.4, it used to go from like 2.5 million to 3 million. So it used to cost us more money to have the same level of care because we had too many people on the national network and they didn't even need it. So that's kind of a long story to tell you that what we did 3 years ago clearly has worked. And then there's just all sorts of different things, but you can see we had about $500,000 in increased claims. And then if you go to the next page, on page 12, it shows you the total enrollment. You can see that we have, so there's prior year 1, prior year, and current year CY. Our trend is less singles and more families. That's also part of the equation for the increase. We're insuring more belly buttons, as Rick would say. So this is just the number of policies, not the number of people that we're insuring.
If you look down the rating decisions, were you gonna point that out?
Yeah, the 4 claims over
1,
75,000.
2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th bullet down, or 5th bullet down. Where there were 4 claims over 75K.
So that's where we have the stop loss insurance. So if your claim is over 75,000, it actually isn't supposed to affect our renewal rate because we have a stop loss insurance that covers that extra above that. But the issue is, so we have 4 of them this year and we have 9 with ongoing risks that could exceed that, but those 9 are hitting that 10 to 75 right now and really contributing to the renewal increase. The next page, this is all
So
details.
we'd be better if they hit 75,000.
In theory, yeah.
Yeah.
The next page just kind of tells you the highest claims, that we had and what the diagnosis was, nothing really surprising there. Then the next few pages tell you our top claimants, like the number, I think it's the top like 30, 40 claims that we had. And what the diagnosis was, just, I mean, the only reason why they show us this is so we can see, is it preventable disease? Like, do we need to have diabetes, education, do we need to have, you know?
Out of our top 10, only 3 males. Kind of weird. See that?
That's rude.
I don't know, I find that odd, I guess.
What's that?
There's mostly females.
Well, and they're mostly dependents to it, or spouses.
I see.
So that's the thing too, we'll go through that later, but the majority of our claims are, what was it, 32% of our claims are employees, the rest of them are spouses and dependents.
But I think we average like 3.1 belly buttons per family policy.
Yeah. Which I think is low, because if you think about it, a family policy is mom, dad, and kids, so we're only averaging 1 kid on there.
Yeah, I thought it was low too, but he seemed to act like it was at the target level.
Yeah. So then if you go to page 21, this is what I was telling you about, Chris. Usually RX is our biggest driver on the increase. Every year that I've done this, it's always been RX, page 21. This graph over here to the left. But this year, if you look, it was inpatient, and inpatient requires you to spend the night in the hospital 1 night, and that was 283% increase.
Wow.
So we just had a lot of inpatient claims, which honestly, at the end of the day, that's probably a better thing, because if, in theory, if it was an inpatient thing, you got it fixed and now you're on the road to recovery, versus an RX could be a lifetime commitment to the county to pay for. So, but every other year that I've done this, it's always been RX driving it. The page 23 is what shows you that which shows you the enrollment. And it kind of shows you by state, like where we compare there. I mean, there's just a lot of details there, not a whole lot. If I skip something, John, speak. If you go to page 25, so this is kind of where I was talking about earlier. We had so many people on this national network. So now if you have the in-state network, you can only receive your typical preventative whatever care, not your emergency, like ER visits in the state of Iowa. And anyway, so the majority of our people were in network and were utilizing our network, essentially is what that's saying. Here's the fun one, on page 26. What would that be current year? 7.3% of our enrollment had 0 claims, $0. If you add it all up, if you have $5,000, and if you add up all the percentages, it's 79.9% of our employees and their beneficiaries had less than $5,000 in claims, so 80%. So a lot of our claims increase is driven from roughly 20% of our insured population. So that's that's kind of typical. So, but also having 7.3% of people with no claims, that's not good either. That's, what did he say, equivalent of 25 people? That means they're not getting their preventative care. And we need to be pushing preventative care. That's something that we've always talked about.
Yeah, he said that's like even if their physicals are paid for, that's not in there.
Right.
So they're not even getting their paid physicals.
And they should be. The next page on 28, so that top left graph, It shows you what the plan's paying and what the members are paying. And so if you look at the current year, our plan paid 90% of all of our claims, and our employees and their beneficiaries paid 10%. Benchmark is more like 15%, is where they kind of want us to be, and the standard across the nation. So all that to say, we have a richer health insurance policy than the national average. 29 is a lot of data. 30 is interesting on the very right-hand side. So this is showing you, the line is showing you our membership, so how many people are enrolled. So you can see ages 5 to 18. We have the most enrolled in that, but they are also the least amount of our claims. And then if you look to the right, you can see the exact opposite. And on the right-hand side is where we talked about maybe we need to encourage employees to make that Medicare switch. And it's just an education thing, but the next thing is going to give you diagnosis. Hearts and vessels and bones, muscles, ligaments were our top hitters.
Just me.
I mean, I was one of them too. Same thing, keeping going. Medical, surgical was high. A lot of boring details here going into
I
here.
think more than just, we could talk about the plans he offered.
Yes, so I think that's pretty much it. So that gives you an idea. Well, one thing we should highlight too is on page 44 and 45. Compass Memorial is becoming more and more one of our top facilities that we go to. It never used to be, so that's a good thing that we're going local for our care.
And using the Compass card is
Mhm.
very beneficial to us as well.
And same thing with the top 10 practitioners, they're all starting to come more out of Compass. That's all pharmacy utilization. Page 48 gives you our top drugs that we paid for. They're always kind of the same from year to year. So then if you flip to page or tab 2, this is where we can get really into the weeds, but these were plans that they offered to help save money. And so you have to look at it all as one page, essentially, but then there's alternative 3 at the end here. But right now we offer the $1,500 Alliance Select, and that's what we're basing our contribution rates on. And if we took that from a $1,500 deductible to $2,250 with a $4,500 out-of-pocket max, or a $10,000 out-of-pocket max, you go all the way down to the bottom, that would actually take our renewal down 1.8%, or 8.4%. I kind of said that backwards. So it's 8.4 if we took it to $2,250. So that 13.4 that we're looking at takes us to an 8.4. If you went to a $5,000 deductible, that would take it, put more money in our pocket and save us money, right? By 1.8%. Alternative 3 is a high deductible health plan that they have been, I kind of knew this was coming, they've been pushing it for years. This is just an add-on that we could do. It would require a lot of education. I don't think we would have a lot of people that would take it year one. If you are one of those that is hitting the over 75,000, if you did the math, it'd be way more advantageous, because once you hit that $3,300 in for that one person, it's 0%. Whereas you have co-insurance with all of these other ones, even with our stop loss, you still have to pay that donut hole, the co-insurance rates. But with the high deductible, it's absolutely zero. Once you hit 3,300, you're done, and 6,000 as a family. Typically, not typically, it kind of depends on private versus public sector. There is a health savings account attributed to this. So if we flip the page again, I think that's where this number comes into play, yeah. So if you look at the very bottom numbers on 57, these red numbers are what we would save the county, like what the county would save. If we had somebody, if we're gonna contribute X amount like we have been to your health insurance plan, and you take the high deductible, this is how much money the county would save per person, per plan, whether it's employee to family. And if you go to the right, that's what it would save if we took the 2250 instead of the 1,500. But anyways, so what some employers do is, let's say I'm gonna save $200 on your employee plus spouse plan by you switching to the high deductible plan. I'll give you $100 in your HSA account as part of that. So it's kind of getting more skin in the game, essentially. I don't think we want to do that. I think it would be messy, especially for the auditor's office to figure out what we're going to contribute per person. You know, I think we could offer a high deductible plan for year one and see how it goes. I don't think we need to facilitate the HSA because you can take that out anywhere, or you can take it out on your taxes afterwards.
But yeah, he kind of talked about the employees eventually could set up their own private
Mm-hmm,
health savings account.
mm-hmm. And then put money in it post-tax, and then you take it off on your taxes. Or you could have the county set it up and they take it pre-tax, but that just gets kind of messy.
Mhm.
And just for a year one, like, we're already going through different changes. So that's something to consider if we want to consider adding it as an option. But we don't have to decide today, obviously, but if you guys want to think about it or talk to employees to see if they would want a high deductible. I know Rick said that there's been a couple employees every year that have brought it up and asking if we would offer that.
We're kind of, I don't know if you guys agree, but we're kind of the thinking, the plan was we're already in the middle of the budget that, you know, we didn't want to mess with it this year. I mean, we're gonna take the brunt of the increase, obviously, but.
Well, for us to implement these changes and then have them all redo budgets and
Yeah.
submit them back, and then
Yeah.
have an insurance meeting to educate everybody on it would just be too much.
Right.
And like I said earlier with Nick, you know, obviously we had a really bad year, and you saw we have 9 more people that are trending, you know, we're trending upwards.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep this health insurance benefit the way it is than give them a raise, because clearly there are members that are gonna need it.
If we end up not giving a raise, I mean, by paying this health insurance increase, that is a definite increase in our benefits
Right.
coming from our taxpayers, so.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. That's something that they've talked about in the past, but they talked about it yesterday. They have I don't know if it's on Northrisk website or if it's on Wellmarks. I can't remember. It must be Northrisk, where they will put together a full benefit package. Like, instead of saying I make what our salary is, what is it, 36,000. My actual full benefit package and my full cost of the county is actually, and then they add in the health insurance and all the other things, and it's like 70,000 or whatever it is, you know? They have that, and that's something that I think needs to be communicated too, is like your salary and your full benefit from the county that you're getting isn't just in the wages, it's in the health insurance, it's in all the other things that we're offering.
Well, and, you know, I get people that say, well, you know, we have to pay for our health insurance, or we don't get full health insurance where I work, but that's all part of your package, just like you're talking about. It's a salary package, so you know when you take that job, you're gonna be responsible for this much, and maybe a job like working at Compass, you know when you take that job, maybe your wages won't be as much as another hospital, or maybe they will be, but maybe you're getting free healthcare there and you won't be at the other place. So it's all in that package. So when I try to explain to taxpayers, this is why they're getting free health insurance, because that's what their package was when they were offered the job.
Right.
And it never used to be completely free until 3 years ago, like I said, but what the whole point of doing that was to get people, we made the one in-state network free to get more people on it, because like I said, that total amount, that $2.5 million that we were spending actually got adjusted to more like 3.
But it's the same amount of benefit per package though, right? I mean, the dollar amount per employee is the same all the way across. isn't it?
Yes, yeah, well, per plan, yes.
Yeah,
Not
so
per-
they can take that higher plan that they can pay part of that, lets them go out of network, but they're still getting the same amount of value as every other employee.
Yep, oh, per plan. And so it depends if you take the employee plus spouse, employee plus children, or the family. Obviously, the family's the most expensive, so they're getting the most benefit, which I forget what it said. I think the majority of our people are on the family. Well, we just said that, we're
Yes,
trending, so.
Yeah, it was like 106 or something.
Yeah, so, I mean, the majority, if you're on that family plan, you're saving roughly, what was it, $4,500 a year that if we were to pass on that 13.5% increase to them and keep our contribution rate the same. So, I mean, like I said, you've got way more money in your pocket keeping the health insurance.
Oh, no, I understand that. What I try to tell everybody.
And, I mean, unfortunately, it looks like our members are gonna need it. We do have a lot of claims.
I'll try not to do something dumb this year.
Yeah, me too. But do you guys have any questions about that? The one thing to note, you can upgrade to that $750 deductible one, which I agree with Rick, that's completely archaic. Nobody offers a policy like that. Something to look at down the road is maybe adjusting some of those, but maybe not the base one, but,
I forgot how many are in that one.
oh. Which I'd rather have employees in that one versus the national network, because that's still taking that adjusted rate to the state network.
So that's the Alliance Select,
All right, what page are you on?
page 10.
That is, no, the Alliance Select is the national network. So we have 31 total on that one, and then we have 77 on our free one and 18 on the 750. I have previous years, but it used to be the exact opposite, because it didn't cost them anymore to be on that national network, so why go on it? Yeah, see, our things used to go from 1,500 or $1.5 million in actual claims and get adjusted to 2.1 million. So we used to have 82 back in 2022. We had 82 on the national network, 40 on the Blue Advantage, the 750, and then 4 on our 1,500.
So it's kind of
Totally flip-flopped it, huh?
flippant.
That was the goal of making it free, and actually saved us money because we had 2 really good years of renewal increases. This year was a fluke deal. which is why I don't really want to make too many changes based on a fluke year either.
No, I think we don't make any changes this year.
But if you guys are, I mean, we'll have to have it on the agenda, we can put it on for next week or the week after, right, Randy? To make an official decision, but my idea is just to leave it the same. Maybe offer the high deductible if you guys want to ask around to see if people would really want it. Or I could send an email out to department heads to try to get a feel for it too.
Right,
There's no sense making a whole mess for the auditor's office
I agree.
and another mess for them to explain it if no one's gonna take it.
Right. But it's a lot of education though, and if you don't know about it, it's kind of confusing for people to look at it. Because all they're gonna be looking at is, geez, my out of pocket's gonna be more, you know? That'll be the first thing they think of.
Not really though, if you have a catastrophic event. The caveat is you have to have $3,300 for you or one person in your family and $6,000 total sitting in your bank account to be able to afford that.
Right,
But if you're actually typically, especially with the tax savings of the HSA, you're way money ahead every year. I would take it. I mean,
yeah, I would say the smart thing would be to take it and put the $6,000 in an account right away, and it stays.
you only do 4,500 for that.
Already just in your own
Yeah.
savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could start that, health savings account and put 4,500 in 1 year and 45 the next year.
Well, just in one set of taxes, not income tax, but one set of taxes alone, your pre-tax stuff, that's a $600 tax savings right there.
Right, he was talking like it was gonna be like a triple touch on tax savings.
It is, because then,
If you use it to pay for the bills, you don't pay taxes on it, even though it was tax sheltered. So,
Mhm. Yeah, no income tax on it, and then that's just social security tax not taken out of it. So, do you guys just want me to email department heads and see if there's?
Yeah,
a
see if there's any
consensus?
interest, yeah, that'd be the easiest.
Okay,
yeah, it'd be something I'd kick around.
Yeah.
and I know Rick will come and educate people, he'll do an educational thing on it, like he always does.
Yeah, do what it takes.
He's talked about how he started at different companies and it started out slow, but within like 5 years, it was the top.
For the higher deductible.
Yeah, it was the top one. I mean, to me, it looks like it'd be really good if it was just a couple, you know? Well, even a family, because even if it's a couple, it's still gonna be 6,000, if that's the numbers.
If you have a family plan, you're way more advantageous to take it.
Yeah, especially if you have little ones,
Mm-hmm.
because you get tonsils, adenoids.
Yep. No, so, okay, that sounds good. We probably don't need to worry about putting that on the agenda right away, do we, Brandy? Because it shouldn't affect our budget if they take it by that much. I don't think we'll have that many. What was that number? It could save some money, but I don't think it's be enough to really put a dent in it. Cause I don't think we'll have that many take it anyway, so. All right. Are you ready for budget?
There's no choice.
Never ready.
It's the funnest part of our job.
Is it our alternative? Did you find this $500,000 somewhere?
No,
Oh, no, we won't talk about it then.
maybe next year.
Next year, then we're gonna need,
So
What do you say?
then we'll need $500,000.
You never know. So, as I said earlier, we're missing the sheriffs.
I think it still needs some corners too, but that's not a huge impact.
We don't have the sheriff's in there, we don't have public health or conservation because those have to go through
The
the boards.
conservation's wages, I just don't have any other changes.
Yeah, okay.
And I told her to give us a wait.
And then where are we sitting right now? Whenever you're ready, if you need to finish tasks, it's fine.
We have it close to 18%. We would have levy, and this is with the numbers that I have, again, I have. 3.5 for general supplemental,
3.5?
and that gets us to 17.79%, so not even 18.
Is that with Josh's money moved some out of it?
Not with his.
Where's the general?
General is at 23.
Okay, so we can take that one down. What's the expenditures in the general right now? The total number?
General, 9,268,210.
Okay. And. So we would have to take out, so what I guess what I'm getting at is, the whole point of cutting the raises is that now the general fund's gonna have more money in it, so we can take some of the EMA budget, a portion of that out of the supplemental to decrease the rate that has to go up and put it back in the general, like we did for this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So to get that down to 18%. Would be like 1.6 million. And what's the ending fund balance right now on that, the actual dollar amount
For which one?
for general?
Or projected for 25, 26? Or this fiscal
No,
year?
for 25, 26, what,
2,131,805.
so we could take out 463,000-ish out of supplemental. What's, sorry, Brina, we'll keep asking questions.
You're fine.
18% on the supplemental. What's the ending fund balance?
$783,597.
What's the expenditures?
4,404,272.
What was the, sorry, what was the second line item called? Just the property taxes on that supplemental fund to make it at that at the 3.5?
4,035,195.
So this is just a really crude way of getting to where I want to go with this. I'm not gonna go exact.
So if I take 400 of the EMA 694.5 out of general, I can get us to 17.91%, leaving an ending fund balance of 1.7 million.
In the general.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes our supplemental to 29.55%.
So then we cut out that 400,000 essentially. What happens to the levy rate when we do that? Is that an easy thing on the computer?
Toggle between programs.
What would be the debt service levy? Do we know that yet?
That's just set to do the payments. I'm not sure yet.
0.30725, I have wrote down.
Montreal 75. So I take $400,000 off of the general supplemental.
The 400,000?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Gets us to 3.16187 for the levy rate.
For supplemental?
Mhm.
What was it?
3.16187.
Which is,
That takes our general supplemental down to basically decreased at 10%. So it's down to 19.56. I definitely do not want to go lower than 18%.
no.
Because when you think about $787,000 or $783,000 being the ending fund, like the projected ending fund for O2 at the end of next year,
No. Mm-mm.
with all of those large expenses right at the beginning of the fiscal year. I just don't want to worry about how we're gonna meet payroll, how, you know, that kind of.
We don't want to pull Tama County?
No. The rough number on this would be like $700,000 more in supplemental fund, property tax increase.
I don't know, 1.2.
What'd you say?
I don't know, 1.2.
Mm-hmm. That's not including the natural, the innate, just from having the increase in valuation, but what is that, like 140,000?
Increase in what?
What?
What did you say, increase in what?
In valuation?
Oh,
I got two more pages.
It's like 135.
What'd you say?
It's like 135.
That's what I was thinking. I have it written down here. Somewhere.
So that,
So that would be like a 850 off the top of my head. 850. That's an 8.5, but we don't have the sheriff's budget back. We've got jail, civil, and dispatch. That'll cut out on my approximation 90,000. So then, and public health without the, let me just add all these up. Jail, civil, dispatch.
I think in the levy rates that you just put out, that puts us at a grand total, I think, of $9.83. If I put them down right, I'm not sure.
So we got about $130,000 in raises that will get cut out of that. Plus, if the conservation board and the health board cuts out their portions of maybe 171,000, that's almost 300,000 more that we could get cut out.
Off your 8.5.
Yeah, which would take, I just say,
We've got about 5.
So that's with some of the raises out, but not all of them, because we don't have those other budgets, right?
yeah, that's 130,000 right there. Takes it down to like 5.5. So what we'll have to do again is, once we get all these numbers in, that's more of the EMA budget that we can move into the
General.
general basic and out of the supplemental and decrease the raise that way. Which 5.5 would not be bad.
Even 6 wouldn't be bad compared to where we started.
Mm-hmm. What are your guys' thoughts?
112.
You think you can get the 71 out of conservation?
I don't think it's gonna be 71. It's gonna be tight. I mean, it's gonna be close, I think. Just by talking with you.
I'll do what I can to squeeze 100,000 on the Board of Health.
Right.
So then if we have those Wednesday, we should have, if they, what, your meeting's Wednesday too? Wednesday night? They should be able to get, Brandy, will you be in on Thursday for them to send those to you, and then we can make a decision Friday? So we need to set our, what do we need to do Friday? I know it's kind of a deadline, everybody's gonna have it kind of settled.
I have to have everything entered into the Department of Management's website before I leave for vacation. It is the 20, I want to have it done by next Friday.
That's what I thought, okay. So we kind of have to have,
So we want to do it this coming Friday, get a decision at least.
Because I don't leave until Tuesday, but I don't want to be rushing, trying to get it in there either. Because on March 5th is the hard deadline for Department of Management to have everything in there. And that's where all the information comes for the notices that we have to mail out.
mhm. The lovely mailers.
Another service that cost us money, no return.
I know.
$5,000.
I wish we could get rid of that. I really do. I know there's talk of it going electronic, but even then, it doesn't make any
It's gonna
sense.
cost us money somehow then.
I know.
And you can still make decreases. You can't increase after I've entered those numbers and they're in there with that March 5th deadline. Things can always go down, but you cannot go up.
Which if we implement the high deductible, let's say we have a huge influx of people taking it, that would, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I got
We could hold off on that for a year just to see what people's interest is.
Yeah, we can if we want. I don't care either way on the high deductible. We could do it this year, we could do it next. I think I'll just see what the temperature is on it.
Right.
So do we need to meet before Friday?
Those
Nothing will be in until
We're waiting on the,
Thursday.
Oh. Are we gonna look at, are we still gonna look at an option with the 2.5%? What's your guys' thoughts?
no,
I don't think so. Anyway, if we did, it would raise it back up to, well,
Well, all that would be eaten up, that 400,000 that we just moved out of the supplemental.
Well, so how much more would it be for non-union employees?
380,000.
That's just for the non-union.
So,
So what do we kind of, well, I guess we really can't really project what the grand total levy rates are gonna be yet.
I don't know about the levy rate itself, but I know the property tax increase would be around that 5.5. If everything comes in that we've been trying to,
Which it may not.
yeah. Chris and I might have our hands full trying to get that done.
Right. But I know, I would say right now, if we left it alone, John, the total ask would be under 10 million. Total ask on the, it'd be under 10. Yeah. With the raise, it'd be probably 10 point something. So,
Like, I didn't wanna go over to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever look at the levy rates. I look at the property tax total ask dollars. I don't look at
I
the,
guess I look at the levy rates because I see how that's gonna affect each taxpayer, depending on what they own. I had one taxpayer say, I don't know how many dollars, it was astronomical because he owns a lot of businesses, how many dollars he pays in property tax. And granted, you know, he owns a lot,
Mhm.
but we have people that have been laid off that have to pay property tax as well.
We have people retiring on social security that get the same amount of money. They're not getting these crazy increases.
Well, and we, you know, last year we had the person come in that said she can't afford to stay in her house because of taxes. I guess I don't see that personally where that would really happen. That the person that said it didn't look like it was a fact, but I'm sure she was just upset about her. But then she realized when we talked to her, I think you were all in there.
I was on the phone.
We talked to her and told her that, you know, it's not just the county property tax. You've got your, depending on where you live, you've got your schools and your everything else.
So the countywide levy rate as it sits right now with 3.46535 for the general basic, 0.018 for Pioneer Cemetery, 3.16187 for general supplemental, debt service 0.30725, and rural basic 2.87129. The countywide levy rate would be 9.82376.
which is still the highest in the last 15 years.
Yes.
But
And increase in valuation every year.
Right.
So that's why I don't worry about the levy rate because it's all dependent on valuation. Like last year, we actually lost, well, I guess I shouldn't say valuation every year, but last year we lost valuation. So I just look at the total property taxes. 'Cause you could have a
but our
huge increase in valuation, your levy rate goes down. Well, you could still be levying more taxes.
Well, like I said before, I'm looking at this, and if you look, fiscal year 16, it was up over $10.
Right.
2 years later, it's down to 9.1. Isn't that crazy?
But the valuation could have been different. So that's why I
A
don't,
huge difference in 2 years, wasn't it?
yeah, that's why I don't really pay a lot of attention to it, just because your valuation can swing so far and your levy rate, you could be like most of the cities and apply the same levy rate every year and say, oh, we're not raising taxes, but you are because the valuation's going up.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting to see how many counties are well over that $10 per 100,000. I have no clue what Tama's gonna do. You said
Well,
they're
your desolate counties like Van Buren County, they're gonna be, they always historically are. They're above that 3.5 on the general. But your counties with like Polk County ought to be way less because they have so much more valuation.
No, Van Buren's under it. It's 3.43 this last year.
Well, they got ratcheted down.
Monroe's 3.92.
It's Davis.
Davis.
That's not a big deal. Just curious.
It's here somewhere, just gonna run across it. Kit Kat 3.77.
I mean, I'd probably entertain the idea of discussion of personal days for non-union employees.
An extra personal day.
Or, yeah. I mean,
Davis is 3.7.
I mean, I'd be open to discussion for it. I mean, just.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, that's.
Holy cow,
I'm not
Henry's
saying-
4.74.
Who's this?
Henry,
What is it?
4.74. I hate that, but they're, oh my gosh.
They're one of the dirty 30. Well, now it's down to dirty 18, I think, but.
Wow.
Well, some of the counties, not saying that one, but some of them counties, we have a lot of poverty in them.
Yeah, that's why I asked about Dave. I mean, Davis is, when I lived there, I mean, they just historically just had trouble getting a tax base. I mean, their tax base was not.
I hate
Yeah,
to guess what
not as
this
much
is gonna
industry.
have to be.
Yeah, they just, I mean, it's just more rural.
Going back to what you said, I'm okay with maybe a personal day, an extra one, but I don't want to change our vacation policy.
No,
Because
but,
that costs money. I mean, it's not free. Giving people a vacation is not free.
right,
Henry County's 12.16. Total last.
That surprised me because it's Fort Madison, right?
No,
No, that's,
Mount Pleasant,
Or Mount Pleasant,
Yeah.
also.
got a college down there.
But Mount Pleasant's pretty big town.
right?
That college closed down there?
Yes, it did. Winnebago, 5.09. Decatur, 6.52. Holy buckets,
That's for what?
just in general.
Randy, what are your thoughts on, like, don't you think a personal day is better than paying more for more vacation? As far as the cost
I guess
goes?
what's the difference?
Yeah, personal day, they'd still get paid. wouldn't they?
Yeah, but if we increase vacation,
So when somebody separates from the county, then vacation is paid out.
Oh, well, then, yeah, personal day, I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
it means something, because I mean, I know we're tied with the union and have to give those raises, but I mean, it would just seem fair to give
Right.
something to the non-union employees. I'm not saying I would vote on it, but I'd be,
At least listen.
once we get a full body here and we discuss it, I definitely entertain discussing it, so.
which we could easily, that's a thing to do later, you know what I mean? After we
Yeah.
pass the budget and figure it out, we can add in a personal day for 1 year, but I don't know how we would do that in the policy manual. We have to figure that out, talk to Galloway.
Yeah, you can see it's Tom Galloway or.
Yeah, and that's what that discussion would be. We just have to see what we can do legally and,
And keep in mind, personal days only apply to full-time employees. So the part-timers wouldn't,
right, yeah, I could understand that.
and same thing with vacation.
Because part-timers aren't getting a salary.
Well, we have some salaried part-times, but they don't get vacation and they don't get full, or personal days, so you'd only be giving it to full-time employees.
Yeah, it'd be part of the discussion, yeah.
Any other thoughts or comments on the budget? Keep rolling forward, see what we have next Friday. and-
Yeah, we're just gonna see what the numbers coming at.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of close to what,
I think they're fairly close out.
I don't think it's gonna go a whole lot. Well, it might go down a bit if we get some of that we discussed.
Yeah, if we get that 170-ish. So if we're done with that, Brady, do you have anything else to add? Okay, items for consideration for next week's agenda.
What's on for next week? Just Nick and
Is everybody gonna be here next week for budget?
Yeah, that's right to be here.
Oh, Meg's here next week. Nick, Adam, Meg, and Christine Pollock with Kirkland Workplace Learning Connection.
It's a big one next week then.
That, you ever get with that gal about Place in Ringo?
No, because I wanted to take a look at the other
Yeah,
place
okay, I didn't know.
and see.
I just came
The
up
other
with
place
that.
I was looking at, there's probably room for 2 desks, but I don't know. We don't have any place where we're gonna have a waiting area. And I don't think we're gonna put something like that in the courthouse.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep you guys apprised on union negotiations of secondary roads. I reached out over a month ago to the new rep, no response. Our attorney, Ann, reached out to them, no response. She sent us a copy of the contract, which I will forward to you guys to look at. Our initial, what Kevin and I had talked about. But, so I don't know if we'll ever get that done. All right, anything else to add to next week's agenda?
Oh, sounds like a busy one. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.